Are you a ZoukNerd? Well, let's find out. Bom dia, and welcome to ZoukNerd. Join Leo, Andressa, and I in our first ever podcast and find out whether you are or you're not a ZoukNerd. Morning, everybody. Let us know in the comments where you're joining us from and what time it is there for you, because, Leo woke up at 5 a.m. in the morning in New Zealand to be here with us. I cannot believe it. And Andressa, it's 8 p.m.
Yeah, for me it's fine.
For Andressa, it's fine.
Thank you for that, guy.
Well, next time, it'll probably be me waking up at 5 o'clock, so it can be more comfortable for Leo and Andressa. Hello, Rafael. Hello, Jeremy. Hello, Ifosa. How are you all doing, everybody? Welcome to ZoukNerd. So today is our first meeting. Where's the champagne? I've got kombucha, coffee. What do you have, Andressa?
I just had some coconut water just now.
She's so healthy. Look at that woman. Oh, man, I have not been very healthy, but we're doing our best in this quarantine.
Yeah, we do the best we can.
Yes, look at that. Real Zouk style. I actually chose to wear a t-shirt that my students made for me. I think it's reversed. Oh no, it's good. It's good. I'm looking at Facebook here, and Facebook shows it. That's good. My students made this for me once as a surprise, and they're like, "Oh, all the time you're always telling us to be better and upgrade and upgrade and upgrade because there's always a level up and a level up." So they made this. And you can actually read the back, maybe. Okay.
Oh, so good.
Right? I think we need to make that t-shirt for ZoukNerds or something like that.
Yeah, so cool.
Okay, so let's get chatting. I think for today, it would be very nice if we talk a little bit about ourselves first, and then, as we do, we get distracted and detoured and we go for like 200 subjects per hour. But I have a question. When did you find out that you were a ZoukNerd? Or when did you actually had and you went, you know what? I am one. This is it. I'm not going to deny anymore. When did you find out?
I think it was when we started working out of Brazil, actually. But I'm a nerd in many other aspects as well. So I think I just brought it with me to Zouk, But then when I started working outside Brazil, I felt more comfortable to embrace it, because I thought that with the experience teaching different people from different cultures, from different countries, I felt that there was a space to re-embrace this side of me, because it would help a lot of people. Because sometimes in Brazil, although people appreciate good technique and good teaching, if you get too much into some technicalities and details, they can get bored easily in class.
Yeah.
Because they prefer to go with the flow, to have a little bit more of like just the feeling aspect of the dance, figuring out along the way. And then I feel that outside of Brazil, people tend to want more of the engineering process of dancing. I think I felt more comfortable to really bring it out, But I am a nerd for anything that I do and study and practice. So I think that was it. That was the process.
Nice.
I think for me, it happened almost pretty much the same. Once I left, I had to adapt things in a way, and I started to understand different things that I wasn't not like my area. To be able to explain it to people why of certain things. For example, understand a bit about the body was one of the reasons as well. Because you need to explain to people why they shouldn't do certain reasons, otherwise they will just keep doing it. And you need to understand why that, and then you start studying yourself to be able to explain. And about everybody started like study about the timing, because a lot of people outside of Brazil, musicians that you will find everywhere, or even like if you're not a musician but yourself, but you need to explain in a way people understand like what are they going to dance, because in Brazil we just used to do like boom, boom, chick, chick. And now I had to change everything. I remember one time I had this conversation with Alisson. Why do you guys sing boom, chick, chick in Perth when you live in Perth?
Yeah.
And I was like, it's because like we learn like this, and pretty much it is like that's how we learn. That's how we get to think. It's like a little bit like fast. And my mentality at the time was like, but if we do like this, everybody can do it. And after you're developing your mind and your way of teaching, understand that everybody will get it the same. You need to study and become a little bit more nerd to be able to explain to people in a certain way that they're going to learn it.
Okay. Well, I think for me, at least, I think I'm very similar to Andressa. I've always been a nerd. It's just life. I never denied. And to be honest, I think I never denied, but I was never proud of it. Until more recently, I think. For me, I knew I had it, but it kind of gave me so much troubles when I was young, and because of bullying and because of being different. I wanted to be cool, but I was a nerd. And so that was kind of a problem when I was young. And then as we started dancing and teaching and things like that and traveling, especially for me, it started happening in Asia when I started going to Asia, and then seeing all of those students asking all those really, really crazy questions. Somebody who I'm sure you guys know as well, Jean from Singapore, she really made it like, okay, you're challenging my nerd now because I need to become a better nerd. Because her questions and the way she learns is so like specific, and she fried my brain so many times.
I remember I went to Singapore and staying also with Jane, and she sat Freddie down and she asked like so many questions and like, okay, so why this and why that and not why that other thing. And then we had also like to explain things in a very like detailed way, because she also has this like way of thinking, but this is actually really good for to, as you said, like challenge us as teachers, because we have to understand 100% of what we are doing, because it's like we have to be able to make someone else understand as well as we do. And this is important because we deal with people that learn in many different ways. Some people will learn by instinct, and it's something that is going to be very natural for them. And some people are going to need a little bit more of the math and structure and like the piece by piece to build their like Lego houses in their head, and then they can translate it to the body. So it's like it may go two ways. Some people learn it naturally, so the body automatically does what it sees. And after you understand what you just did, some people goes the other way around. They have to understand it, and then they translate to the body.
That's me.
Yeah, so we have to know how to go both ways for the students to understand.
Yeah. And guys, at the same time, please do share your story down in the comments so we can have this meeting with all of us, not just the three of us. Ifosa just mentioned, yes, I feel that. I was always a nerd growing up, but I ashamed and bullied too. Now it became cool in my life, especially when I entered dance, especially Zouk. So many nerds, geeks, philosophers, scientists, and engineers in Zouk. That's right. And those are those students are the ones who challenges our nerds even further.
Yeah. And I agree with Amin. He said that like nerds are cool too. I think so too.
Of course, we are cool. Come on.
They're cool. It's super cool.
Oh my goodness. Now, what was, if you can remember, or maybe name one or two, the nerdiest, deepest, out of this world question or explanation that you were asked to do? about some movement or technique, or how many angles and percentage and what's the inertia of this movement and something like that. I'm sure in Finland, you're gonna have so many. Andressa?
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what was the question because my memory is bad. Like I'm not the best on remembering like these details, but it was not even in Finland. It was when we were in Austria once, and we had a question from Guido. I think most of you might know him. He from Vienna. He used to organize things in Vienna as well. And
what's his name?
Guido.
Oh, Guido. Yes, I know Guido.
Yeah.
He
asked that question once that got us thinking during class. And we had to really come up with a way right then and there to make sure the explanation was as clear as possible. Because we never thought that a question like that could come up, you know? And I don't remember exactly what the question is, but I remember like the situation and the feeling, you know? And sometimes even Freddie mentioned that until today. I think he might remember what the question was, but I don't, but I remember the situation. So I think it was a situation that we were like, okay, yeah, we never thought that we could be asked that. So we never thought that we'd have to explain this particular detail, because that's the thing. For us, it was so natural to the whole picture of the technique and the concept that we never thought that we would have to get that specific detail and break that down inside of the breakdown of the concept. But we had to do that. And then that was nice because that also got us thinking, okay, maybe there are still some aspects inside the breakdown of our concept that we need to break down even further. And was this situation that we remember quite clear. And in Finland, it's like almost every day. These angles and percentages, we have to have that clear, because otherwise it's like, it's not enough just like transfer the weight more forward, but keep some in the back. It's not enough. It's like, okay, it's 80% forward, 20% in the back. And it's like, we have to give the exact number.
You cannot teach like, okay, now we,
okay. And then like this, and then like this, go like this. No, that's not works like that.
Now, you watch my footwork. Now, you do it. How about you, Leo?
It was for me in, I think it was Australia. I don't remember when I went first time with Alisson. We had a private lesson, and a student asked me, how do you move your hip? And like, I noticed when you move your hip, your foot plays it too. And I went a little bit more like, hang on, he's noticing things that it's natural for my body to do, where I haven't stopped to thinking about it that detailed. Like, all right, I know how you move your hip, but I had to pay attention what my foot had to do for me to explain. So then from there on, I start to understand that a lot of people will watch all the details of your body moving, and you need to give that explanation because they are so observing like everything that you are moving, that you're not paying attention on that. So your body like makes ways of moving, and your foot is responsible, the same as your shoulder would be responsible to everything moving together. And from there, I started to study more because the people was like, oh, how your hip move? But I noticed, and after they make that question, we kept like showing the hip. Like, but I noticed you also place your feet this way. Then I was like, how come we like pay attention on my at the same time as my hip? And I was like, oh, that's actually a very good question. So we need to start working more into those kind of mechanisms for people to understand. And then it was from there. Like, was really good question. It's actually when the people ask question, we ask them to ask question in class, is that make us also pay attention on things that we haven't realized before, but they did.
I think for me, was a turning point when somebody who was also a ballroom teacher, she came and asked me if in Zouk we dance behind the beat, on top of the beat, or ahead of the beat. And at that moment, I was like, explode. Like, what the? I had to ask her. I said, look, I'm sorry. I don't even know what you're talking about. Can you teach me first what you're saying? And then I can answer your question, because I have no idea what you're talking about right now, with behind the beat, on top of the beat, and ahead of the beat. And God, that to me, I think it was probably the most, but there's been many, especially like 10 years plus ago, when everybody was asking, like, how do we count in Zouk? What's the right count? And everybody had a different answer.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why you came to me and asked, yeah?
Oh, I ask everybody, man. I'm just like, if somebody asks me something and I'm not sure because I haven't heard enough, I go and ask. I send a message to everybody. I said, can you please help me? Let me know. And then I make like an educated opinion, I would say. And that's kind of what we do late nights, in the mornings, after the parties, when we start talking about things, the ZoukNerd things.
Yeah. But there's some people that they need a simple way to be explained as well.
Mm-hmm.
You go so deep in like explaining a lot of things, they get confused, they don't learn. And we need to learn like so who we're talking. When we are teaching, we need to go, this person needs information this way. This one information simple. Yeah. Because we try in class sometimes say like the same way to everybody, or everybody get it. Then we have to go to some people say like, look, this like try to do just this, think about that this way. And then you're like, oh, okay, so I got it. Otherwise, but then you're like, those thing teaching is like always adapting to each one. Some people, they need simple, very simple, not so complicated.
Andressa, you're gonna beat somebody up?
No, guys, just because I'm reading the comments, but I don't have my glasses on, so I'm like really trying hard to see. So if you see this face, like, I'm not mad, okay? I'm just trying to read in the page. So Izzy said that, I don't know what she's referring to, but she said, like, for that, I also recommend studying Laban efforts and drives. We have actually been studying Laban techniques a lot, especially regarding, like, different type of movements and dynamics of movements and things like this. With our teacher, we have a contemporary and ballet teacher that work with us at the studio, and we had doing a lot of research to incorporate also these things into the explanations of the dynamics of movements in Brazilian Zouk, because we use them a lot. They actually come from Laban, so that's a very good tip.
Can you explain a little bit for anybody who doesn't know Laban and probably is watching us now?
Yeah.
We got the baby.
Yeah. Let's explain one thing. If you guys are hearing a weird sound, it's Florinha here. And she really wants my attention. So she's like, so if you hear like a weird noise, it's my dog. Okay, guys, she can be very noisy. So back to Laban. Yeah, there's this guy Laban. He developed a lot of techniques, and his work is very technical. Sometimes it's even hard, like a little bit dense to read, because his wording is also very technical. But he developed a lot of techniques for modern contemporary dance. And the ones that we've been studying and incorporating are actually like the 5 types of movement dynamics that we use a lot in Zouk. I have them written down in my notebook. I don't have them with me right now, but it's regarding like the swing, the sharpness, the continuous movement, things like that. I think they can get my notebook. They can get my notebook from me. See my memory, how it is. I have to read something like 120 times so I can remember names and things like that. No, but they want the small one. Yeah, and they're like, we have been studying this particular one. Let me see if I find it. Yes, 5 dynamics of movement. Swing, continuous, sharp accent, that is also translated as impact, the impulse, and the rebound. So we use a lot all of this in Brazilian Zouk. We actually mix and match them. We can use them isolated and things like this. But when you break this down, very useful to understand dynamic and also apply this to musicality. So it's very interesting. And you guys can go and check the Laban's work for more info, or you can keep following us and then we can get deep into that.
Yeah.
Basically that. We have been incorporating that to our musicality classes and programs.
What about you, Leo? What have you been doing in these last few months of COVID development? I think everybody's under development in some ways.
Yeah, I went very deep into understand a little bit more about websites, those kind of things like everybody else. And planning to when like we go to level 0, what we could do to boost the school to get more students. So on the dance side, we ended up like not working as much, but on the start learning for promotional to get more students. Yeah, to get more students, new students. Our aim is to get people that never danced before, and how would you do that? And how would you get those people to get interested about dancing? Because we noticed that a lot of people doesn't know that's a thing. I had a lot of questions, people asking, "Oh, is that a thing?" Like pressure, like dancing Brazilian Zouk, salsa, bachata, those kind of things. Like, yeah, we have quite a like. Not a huge community, but it's like a good size one. And I start to study work ways that I can target those people for them to try Brazilian dances and try Latin dances as well. So they can do something different from a part of gym, workouts and stuff.
New Zealand's been doing pretty good. I've seen some of the stories of from your school, and you guys are like pumping really, really well.
We are trying to find that's what we were doing like when we were on the lockdown. I was looking at a lot of ways of getting people, a lot of ways to go out and how we can do that like outside to get more people. And the answer for everything is like keep it simple, It's like we sometimes want to do fancy things that scare people away. But if you keep it simple, for example, we are doing like a dance at a restaurant, which is like getting very popular at the moment. These restaurants is getting everybody doing clubbing there because the other places are shutting down because it was really bad for businesses, the COVID. And the other places are shutting down really quickly. Nightclubs are shutting down, restaurants are shutting down. So we were thinking like what we can do to get people and make them try dancing. And then we got in contact with that restaurant. While we are dancing, people are eating and watching, but it's not a routine, it's improvisation. So it can be achievable for people to see and go like, oh, I like that, I want to try that, so that's achievable. So if I go there and do a performance, actual routine, people will be like, oh, I will never be able to try that. I'll never be able to do it. So
not relatable.
Keep it simple and you get more people. So that's why people are like, oh, I want to try dancing. Like we've been many people coming to us like next month I'll be there. Next month I'll be there. So which is like it's changing everything. For artist perspective, for us that's simple. It's for us it's like, oh, I don't think that's what attract enough people. But actually completely opposite way. The people that see you dancing difficult, they will not want to try unless if they have any background dancing or if they really love like challenges. But the other people that don't like challenge as much, they'll be like, all right, that's not for me, I cannot do that, I'm out, So we have to get those people like, hey, I dance like this for performing, but you can dance simple. So then we decide to do the opposite. We dance simple and it's like, hey, you can do that. Yeah.
Nice. A question that I have, do you guys promote it as Zouk or do you promote it as Brazilian dance?
I need to promote as Brazilian Zouk because another dance school made a confusion. Like the Zouk from Caribbean Island and Zouk for our Zouk. So I need to call Brazilian Zouk, like the dance, because otherwise people think that's that Zouk. that we don't teach.
Something that I've done for many years now is whatever promotion that I do, I promote Brazilian dancing. I don't say it's Zouk, I don't say it's samba, I don't say anything. Because as we know, people are curious and they are excited to learn some dance from Brazil. And so at first, it doesn't really matter. But I find that if you put Brazilian Zouk, it kind of limits to the people who are willing to find out what that is. But when you put Brazilian dance, people are like, I'm just going to a Brazilian dance class, don't care what it is. And then they find out when they are there. At least when I was in Melbourne, we were using meetup.com and we were using like different platforms to get like non-dancers to attracted to dance. And I find that the best way that worked for us to do that, use it as Brazilian dance. Even if I was to teach samba, I would say samba, but it wasn't. It was Zouk. So you kind of pull them in by saying Brazilian dance.
Wow. We ended up like promoting the actual name of the thing, because we do Bolero, Soltinho, samba, forró, and Zouk. So then the people that does forró, they want to only learn forró. Then I need to like, that's forró class, samba no pé class, samba de gafieira class. And people still getting confused what is samba de gafieira and samba no pé. So yeah. But it makes sense.
And how about you, Andressa, there in Finland? You guys started, the school many years ago, but then you went into an expansion and now you have the whole school for yourselves.
Yeah. We started renting out this space from other dance schools. Like they would have the actual studio and we would rent by the hour. We stayed like this for the first 5 years or 6 years, 5 or 6 years. And then we started to feel the need to have like more hours and more flexibility with timing as well. And then we went and opened our own studio that we have full time. And now we rent it out to third parties and are more flexible with our timing as well. And in our studio, thank you. Yay!
You can see everything now.
So in our studio, we have other dance styles as well. So we are not right now working only with Brazilian dances. So we name it Helsinki Dance Central because we have other classes such as classical swing, contemporary dance, ballet, and we have other Latin dances occasionally by season as well. We already had like bachata classes there. We don't teach everything, but we offer under the studio name. So we call it Helsinki Dance Central because we have many different types of dance and dance-related activities as well. But when promoting the dance, usually if we are going to offer more than one dance style, like if we're going to do a demonstration of Brazilian Zouk and samba de gafieira, for example, we advertise it at Brazilian dances. But if we're going to show Brazilian Zouk specifically, we advertise it at Brazilian Zouk.
And how do you see the return? In New Zealand, you guys are already in the middle of, the return and restructure. In Helsinki, you're still going to have to wait for a little bit?
Yeah, we were allowed to open with restrictions since the 1st of July. But the restrictions was like, for example, we could not rotate partners. If we would have to run a class, we could not do socials anyway. And we had to keep the classes without rotating partners, for example. So we would have like to be a much smaller group with fixed partners and a gap of at least 2 meters between partners. And you have to keep that partner for the entire season. So it would have to be someone that would either like live in the same household with you or, I don't know, like flatmates or something like this. So this made it very difficult to restart. We even tried to restart now in July, but it was really tricky for people to find a partner and not rotate with this partner. A lot of people still feel unsure about returning. Although the situation in Finland seems to be better every day and the situation seems to be really under control, it is under control because people have been taking the measures. So people are still not comfortable of like dropping the safety measures altogether. But we have the autumn registrations opened already, so we would be going back normally in the end of August if we don't have a second wave coming before that. At the end of August, we should be allowed to return to the normal activity. So we hope until there people feel safe to return, and the numbers are also showing that it's like safe to return to class. But I think overall, Finland did a good job. We just have to keep doing the good job so we don't go back to a bad situation.
Now, everybody in the comments, please do let us know what's going on wherever you are. Are you excited to go back to dancing? Like, what do you think will be the future of dance? And that helps us too, you know, because as we are planning and trying to think about what to do in the future, it really helps us to know what we can do to help speed and also help everybody stay connected. Like, for example, this group is one way for everybody to stay connected. So that would be really nice to hear from you guys.
Just to complement here about, because I'm seeing the discussion here about samba, there's like a few different vertents. That's what I should call vertents. And also there's a different samba styles that it's around the world, okay? So it's good for you to learn a little bit of everything. It's like the same way that we have samba rock in São Paulo, samba rock, yeah, we like in English, which is completely different. Samba rock is mostly like arms and leg together. Our samba de gafieira in Rio that we does, it's like more partner dance embraced. And there is like samba funkeado, then come the other connected sambas. But this samba that people are talking as well, there's samba from ballroom dance, which is completely different from our samba, okay? We don't dance the samba from ballroom dance sport, like sport ballroom dance. That's another samba. Sometimes people get confused with that as well. It's exactly the same that the tango from Argentina is different from the tango from ballroom dance as well. Oh, pretty much like it's good to study a little bit everything, so you get a little bit of like over like each pieces of dances. It's a help with your development as well. If you learn Brazilian dance, I would recommend a lot of people to learn Bolero, which is a great dance for you to improve like a lot of your mind. Bolero tricks like many different connection in ways that you cannot imagine. Some people like Bolero is slow, but man, it's slow. They control the complexity of Bolero. It's not easy, but can get complex. It's open your mind in a way that you don't imagine. We pretty much do so much movements that is in Bolero that people put in Zouk. There's a lot of movements from samba de gafieira that is put in on Zouk, and that is Zouk, like go little pieces of those styles and implement on it. If you can have the chance to learn Bolero, I would recommend Bolero.
Basically, any kind of weight transfer class or S's class, X's class, posture class, it's the basics of Bolero. Like any student who comes to Zouk and say, "Oh, I used to dance tango," I just go like, "Oh, thank God." Well, if they have done a lot of tango and good tango, I don't need to explain to them where to put the weight on the foot and how to relax the knees and how to transfer the weight, how to feel the weight transfer, or how to lead the weight transfer. It's just like a long road ahead of most of the other people that come from other dance styles. Another dance style that I find that helps a lot too is West Coast Swing. I find that Tango Bolero or then West Coast Swing, it really helps because of the connection, the musicality, the timing, the understanding of their own body, because I find that Zouk and West Coast Swing are very nerdy, naturally. And because of that, I think the studies in those two communities are just like really deep. You go to a West Coast Swing class or you go to a Zouk class that focus on technique, you get like similar depth of explanation, and even the students, the type of questions they ask it's just so amazing. What other dance styles do you guys think that complement Zouk journey? Either dance styles or maybe not dance styles, but something else, other movement techniques, like you guys, Andressa and Isis mentioned Laban. What other things do you recommend to your students?
I think doing some somatic work is really nice for Brazilian Zouk as well, because we have a very interesting balance between strength and mobility in Brazilian Zouk. That I think that if you work on somatic technique, you can find this balance easily. And you can use your muscles with the efficient effort. You're gonna place there only the effort that you actually need without over tensing it and over using that muscle, although you're still using your muscle strength. And all the breathing and the relaxations that we have to use with the relaxation of the upper body to give a nice feel, while it's still having a very good control of core and back muscles and the muscles that are going to actually sustain the movement without looking stiff. I think the somatic technique helps a lot with this type of balance. It's a type of technique that blends a little bit of like the modern dances and Pilates technique and Alexander technique. I don't know if you heard of it.
Alexander,
yeah. So in the somatics technique, it blends a little bit of that. So I think it helps a lot. And it's like all the classes that we work towards it. There are some modern dance or contemporary dance classes that work towards this as well a lot. I think it helps a lot, because I think sometimes people to use their muscles that end up tensing up a lot and getting the movement really stiff, so the movement doesn't really flow, especially like spine movement, spine rotations and things like that. Or they relax so much that they don't use their muscles for prevention of injury or protection or things like that. So I think to find any dance style that you feel that is helping you find a balance between these two things, I think it's worth to try outside of the social dances. I always say also that if you only had time or money to do one thing and you want to be a good Zouk dancer, you have to take Zouk class. And if you find the correct teacher, all of these techniques that you need to be a good Zouk dancer will be in this class.
Yes.
Well, you may not really need to go and search for this elsewhere. Of course, everything, if you have time, if that is something that you want to invest your time and effort and money into because you want to be a pro or because you are training for competition or whatever reason you have and you want to look for information outside of Zouk, that is also valid. But the right class, the right teachers who study, because we are already bringing a lot of this technique into our class. We are already bringing a lot of this concept. We are already explaining a lot of those key points that you need to be a good dancer. So if you have to invest in something to be a good dancer, that would be Zouk classes.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of the times some students get a little I would say impatient, because they're like, why are we spending a whole class on walking? And you're like, because you need it. Because you need it. Everybody needs it, one time, one of my teachers said, humans don't know how to walk. They fall. Because basically humans do what? They kind of shift the center forwards and they catch themselves with the leg.
Yeah.
And you can recognize a dancer on the street because of that. They articulate the walk. How they walk. Obviously, a lot of the times we're just tired, so we drag our feet and we look horrible. But so many times, I don't know if you guys can relate to that. I mean, my physiotherapist or chiropractic, and they're like, Alisson, can you just walk up and down the room? And I'm walking, and I don't realize, but I'm walking as a dancer. And every time they say, Alisson, can you just walk normal? And I'm like, what the hell is normal? I don't know what normal is. We've been conditioning our body to do certain things in such a way for so many years that even when I get massage and the masseuse is like, can you relax? And I'm like, I am relaxed. I don't know. What do you want me to do? And then they tell me, drop dead weight. And I'm like, that kind of relates to me because relaxed. See, I'm relaxed here. In a certain way, I'm relaxed, but I'm still holding. It's kind of complicated then.
Yeah, to complement what Andressa was saying, it's that, for example, you want to learn Zouk, and I agree completely with Andressa. You want to learn Zouk, you do Zouk classes. The other dance outside is a complement to get your Zouk better and not a main priority, right? So if you want to study deep on that because you like it, it's okay. But some students get confused when we say, do, like, for example, a little bit of workout to carry your muscles with a little bit of more tone for you to be able to understand to hold. They ended up doing a crazy workout, planners and stuff. Like, guys, just enough for you to get your strength. You don't need to go crazy at it. And then it's maybe you do a little bit of ballet. They ended on a full course of 1 year of ballet. You want to be a professional ballet dancer. No, this here is a complement to this here. You don't need to get professional on that to dance well. You just need to understand your body a little bit. But as Andressa said, all the teachers, professional teachers that are in the market nowadays, they know the technique of everything to implement on the Zouk class. So you have already a package there that we had to make a study to bring that into the dance, to give it to you and make the nerd being a little bit more adjustable for everybody,
Yeah. And guys, put down in the comments as you guys mentioning those things here that we're reading. Thank you so much for dropping so much knowledge in the comments. I am actually learning some stuff here too. So
yeah,
I
that's
think,
great.
that's the goal of this group, to have a weekly talk where we share and we learn from each other. And if you want to ask any questions, please feel free to ask any questions. But one thing that I want to hear from you guys is what has been the best piece of advice that you got from an instructor that has really transformed your Zouk or your dance in general. But if you can be more specific to Zouk, what have you implemented to your dance besides the things that we already spoke, that you can share with us and other people might benefit from it just like that. For me, something that really helped me in dance at some point, I don't exactly remember where it came from, but I loved swimming and swimming pool or in the ocean all my life. And at some point I started kind of experimenting with the feeling of swimming while I dance. I don't know if this is just me or anybody else can relate, but that to me was something that helped me. The way I move my arms, the coordination and the leg and the flow and things like that. Now I feel like I'm just being weird. I don't know. I regret saying that. I feel so weird right now. See, I'm blushing. I'm so red. But how about the both of you guys? What one piece of advice that you got from someone that you find that really transformed and changed your dance? Personal dance. I wouldn't say personal career and professional, but personal dance. Something that clicked and either very old in your learning or most recently.
It was not related to technique or anything like that, but there was a few years ago when we brought Shandy here to Helsinki for the Congress, and I was going through a phase that I was feeling really stuck with my dancing, with my personal dancing. And I remember that we had a talk and he said to me, okay, you have to fall back in love with the process, not with the possible result or outcome or what you're going to take out of this dance. You have to fall back in love with the process of learning, of just dancing, making mistakes and looking weird and then looking right. And, I think that was very important, especially in that moment that I was going through, and helped me relax a little bit because we are very similar in many ways. Alisson and I, we have already had many talks about that. And sometimes the process that we have to learn and to want to improve all the time and not having a lot of patience when we are dancing the same way for a long time without any progress or anything. Sometimes it starts to burn us out and getting us stuck rather than moving forward, because it's so much pressure that I put on myself that this happened. So I think this sometimes to have people around me that remind me to relax and enjoy the process. Bell does this to me also many times. A lot of times he's like, okay, Preta, relax. Everything is fine. And it's like, this is very important to me. And sometimes it does more for my dancing than any technical tip that I might receive, because I received great information from all of my teachers my whole life. But I think to have people around me that I trust and that reminds me to enjoy the process and take more out of the process rather than being so focused on achieving this or that result. It's more important to me. And I feel that when I relax, when I have these moments when I can relax, I feel that I improve a little bit until I get obsessed again, and then I start to But I think
watching your videos again until 3 o'clock in the morning, over analyzing everything.
Every little step, and I have to fix this and that, and then I to have people around me that help me. That is very good, like Leo, Freddy as well, because Freddy is much more relaxed in this aspect of the crazy search for the perfect dance and the perfect movement all the time. Is he's very analytical, very nerd, but he doesn't obsess over the way I look or the way he looks at. So this is important to me. These advices are more important to me than the actual technical aspect,
And I think this is a great reminder for everybody here watching to fall back in love.
With the process.
The process. I don't know, the order might be wrong, but you guys get the message.
Yeah, no, but
falling in love with the process back again. That's why we fell in love, and fall in love with the community of going to classes or going to the parties and talking before class or after class instead of just running in and running out. That thing that we all used to just, I used to finish school in the morning and go to the dance school right after. Sometimes there wasn't any class, but I just wanted to be there because that was my safe space.
And sometimes I wanted to dance just to dance, not to train anything or not to get anything right, not to fix anything, just to dance, And sometimes I forget that. I get so stuck in my process of I want to get better at this technique, or I want to develop this methodology further, or I want to, that I end up not dancing just to dance, So this is important. To be reminded of that is important.
One time on this my this partner, I don't remember who was. I don't remember if it was Renato or Laissa. Many years ago. I used to like to dance and make all those movements that I learned in class, so I don't want to forget them. I didn't want to let them behind. I wanted to train them over and over, combining with things and stuff, and make this crazy dance at the party. And one day they came to me and they said Leo, you need to chill. You need to relax when you dance, because we can't breathe when you're changing so many things.
I've heard that before about myself too.
It was true. And then it was hard to listen that, but I took it, because I want, at the same time that I want to practice everything that I was learning, and I was not giving time to my partners to enjoy the dance, because they were worried every time what I was doing, how I was doing things and combining everything together. And I wasn't in a learning process, because I wanted to get as much information that I could to save in my mind, so I have like a good improvisation. That's on my mind was like a good improvisation. But then after, when I got that information, I was like, all right, so I need to chill. And how I'll do that? I start to go to the studio by myself and start to understand a little bit more about the movement. I was recording at the time. I had a little camera that I was recording everything that I was what to do. And I've gone to my dance partner, started to dance very chill, very relaxed dance. When I saw the enjoyment on her face, I was like, hang on, that is what I need to achieve as well. And the same time I was enjoying, and I was like, that's how the way I want to dance. And it's very funny because I start to go to the parties of people that used to know me the way I was dancing. I started dancing for them the same way. They were like, are you not liking to dance with me anymore? And I was like, well, because you're doing very like simple things for you. It's like, but that way, I'm enjoying the music. I'm being more musical. I'm enjoying the dance, and I'm not killing my partner around by like turning cambres and throwing her everywhere. And I'm actually enjoying the dance. It's like it's nothing to do with you like that I not like dance with you, but I'm enjoying the dance now. I'm enjoying my vibe. I'm trying to connect with you. And it was funny because it was two different like ways. Like I went from like go to like chill, enjoy the dance, enjoy the song, and the song like takes you, which was like really funny.
Yeah. For me, most recently, I think a big change in my dance was, I think it came from the inside when like in 2016, when I quit dance and I had to leave and I had to do therapies and things like that. But then as I came back into dancing, I also started applying something that I learned from, it was a West Coast swing teacher. It was like a professional class development or something like that. And he was talking about competitions, and he was talking about the pressure that you put in yourself when you do a show, when you do a demo, when you do a competition. And I've always had that pressure on myself because in my head, I'm always telling myself, don't screw it up. You have to do this right. You have to do that right. You got to make sure that you do something impressive. You got to make sure that you do something that people are going to remember, so on and so forth. But then since that training, when this teacher, God, I can't remember the name. He lives in Australia, but he's American. Anyway, he said, look, every time I enter a competition or a demo or a show, I enter with a mentality telling myself that I am here to thank everybody for being here. So I'm not here to impress anybody. I'm just going to dance so people have a good time with me and I have a good time with them. And it's kind of a mentality of, there is no pressure because people are already here to watch me. So now I just have to be myself. I just have to enjoy myself, because every time I stress, my audience will not enjoy themselves. Every time I'm being super critical and competitive with myself, I am not enjoying myself and my partner. And I think at least us here, we are very competitive, but I wouldn't say like we're very competitive with anybody, but I think we're very competitive with ourselves. I see that in Andressa, I see that in Leo, I see that in Becky, Vanessa, I see that in Freddy, I see that in all of us here. We're very competitive, but with ourselves, with our yesterday, what we did yesterday, we want to do better today because, but then I think we need to find that balance with what Andressa was saying. If you don't enjoy the process, then your only focus is that end goal, and that's just I think that takes the joy out of anything. It really does take the joy out of anything. So guys, we are already getting to our hour here, and so we only planned for an hour today, so instead of like 2 or 3 hours. Because it's late for Andressa, it's very early for Leo. Maybe he's still gonna go back for a nap.
Work.
Yeah, or work. But, well, do you guys want to talk about anything else?
I think it was a good introduction for today.
Yeah. Today is a very gentle. On the next meetings, we want to really talk about nerdy stuff. But I think today is more like an intro to us just in case you haven't seen us in this format, because I'm sure most of you seen us in a dance class, but not in a conversation format. And this is exactly what we want. You know, we want to talk to you guys, and your comments and your participation has been like so amazing.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.
I was trying to scroll down here the comments to be able to read everybody at the same time that I was paying attention what the guys were saying.
Me too, multitasking 100% here, listening and reading.
Thank you for your comments and your insights and all the links also that people posted here. We're all gonna check them out.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here with us and for joining the group.
Yes, please, if you find that there's any friends that are not here that you think would love this catch up, please invite them. This is a ZoukNerd group, so it's not gonna be shows and moves and things like that. You know, we're gonna nerd and geek out about everything. And this group is live, so every day on Facebook, if you guys want to talk and if you want to post some question or some links, like I see some of you guys posting the links in the comments. Okay, so thank you so much, guys. This has been very amazing, and well, thank you, everybody. I don't have anything else to say. I just keep saying thank you. You guys want to say one last sentence or something, piece of advice? Keep your dog on your lap. It's good for life.
Drink your water, eat your veggies,
Okay, mama.
and do your stretches.
Yes, I have been drinking a lot because my neck is completely screwed up. How about you, Leo? Could you?
Not much to say.
Drink coffee. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Beijo. Abraço.
Beijo.
Ciao. Ciao, everybody.